Got a slightly different weekly stride for you today, and that is because we have so many new subscribers that I wanted to give a little bit of an introduction or maybe go over some of my Redis, my amenorrhea history, because I obviously have made all these videos and why. Some of you may not know, you may be coming across this because you have just heard of this resource, of this website, and so I wanted to share a little bit about my story. So, I was a British runner who came to the US in 2007 to go to university here. I went to school at Ferris State in Michigan. When I was there, I, let's say, made some bad choices in losing weight, thinking that skinnier equals faster, a path that many people end up down. I'd say more people than not end up down. And I lost weight. I soon lost my period. I was, at the end of the year, I was quite concerned. And so I went to get some tests. They checked everything out, said it came back okay. They put me on a few different hormones. I did a progesterone challenge, which didn't get my period back. And then I did a 21-day, some kind of hormone, I can't remember. And then another progesterone challenge. And then it did come back. It was incredibly painful on that one time. And after that, I kind of went like, okay, box checked. I'm good. And then I just let it go for another 9 years. During that 9 years, I continued to compete. I just kind of pushed it out of my mind. I walked out of the room if people were talking about their menstrual cycles because I felt uncomfortable and didn't know what to say. I would go to the doctors occasionally, and they didn't really ever seem to treat it seriously. It was almost like well, the answer is to stop running. And I'd say, well, that's not really an option for me because I was either in college on a scholarship or I was running as a professional athlete. And so each time when I said, well, I can't really stop running, they'd be like, okay, well, I've done what I can. And so then I'd go about my day and that was it. But over the years, it started to bother me and I started to seek out other things. I started to get tested in other ways. I started to check everything and it just was really bothering me. In 2016, I ran for Great Britain, represented them in a world championship and in the European championships. And I ran my personal best in the marathon at the end of that year. And then in 2017, I was really struggling to get going again. My sister had just had a baby. I was visiting the baby and my sister in England. And I was also trying to train, also trying to help my sister and just feeling a bit off. And one day I just quit running altogether. That was what I was always told was the thing to do. And it was only upon that moment when I made that decision to quit and when I started working with Nancy Clark, who you will see is one of the experts we have in this resource. It was only when I started working with her and reflecting back that I realized all the other symptoms that I had been ignoring. I had always had cold fingers and toes. My fingers and toes in the winter would be like completely white. Actually, they do look a little bit in this light for some reason, but they would be like sheet white. You know how like if you've been sitting on your finger for a while and it's like very white, that it would be that color. I noticed that it was very, very pale and my toes, and they would get really cold all the time. And there was the insomnia. I had such bad insomnia. It didn't matter if I'd done a 25-mile run that day, if I'd done a race. I kind of understood with the race, you know, you're wired, you're working through it, you're thinking about it. But I could do a 25-mile run hard and I still wouldn't be able to sleep that night. And my brain felt like it like pinged on at 5 in the morning or maybe even 4 in the morning, and I could not sleep anymore no matter how hard I tried. And I also, I had stomach upsets a lot, and there was just a lot of restrictive eating. So it was only upon reflection that I realized that there were other symptoms to this, and I started to do the digging. I then shared my story publicly. It went viral. I became kind of the girl without her period. And that's why I wanted to create this resource, was because during that time, during that 9 years, but especially during that recovery time, I felt like I was alone out there. And I felt like I just wished I had had some help for those panicked moments. So check out the resource if you've not already. But I wanted to give a bit of background with my story with amenorrhea and Red S. And it used to just be Female Athlete Triad because it was only thought to be females. We now know, and Red-S encompasses all genders and also encompasses many more symptoms than just having a missing menstrual cycle. But I encourage you to dive deep into these videos, and I hope you've been enjoying them. If you have, leave comments, share these. We really want to get these out there. We have done these purely just because it's the right thing to do, and appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time.